vineyard. I got plenty of space to park my dually trucks, and I never have to deal with LA traffic. Life is good, they call me the king of Bakersfield. I work from dusk to dawn for Paramount Pictures. Set carpenter and all-around handyman. Well, back in Bakersfield, I got a sinner, lower beauty. Life is good, they call me the king of Bakersfield. So we got wide open spaces for my friends to come drink beer. We got a stage in the back with a band two-stepping all night long. We got some motorcycle riding neighbors. We never have no trouble out here. All my friends say you live like a king out in Bakersfield. Come on. You gotta play weird, Bert. So we got wide open spaces for my friends to come drink beer. We got a stage in the back with a band two-stepping all night long. We got some motorcycle riding neighbors. We never have no trouble around here. All my friends say you live like a king out in Bakersfield. 'Cause I do what you want if you ain't hurting no one. It ain't nobody's business how you live your life. Well, I'm a red state union man from California. Life is good, they call me the king of Bakersfield. Life is good, they call me the king of Bakersfield. Life is good, they call me the king of Bakersfield. Thank you.
In a previous episode of Tales from the IE, we talked about how, for over 30 years, the Swing Auditorium in San Bernardino, California, was the go-to venue to hold large-scale concerts and events in the Inland Empire. The caliber of artists to appear at the Swing was extremely high. Over 60 were eventually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here's a partial list from A. Alice Cooper to Z. Frank Zappa. But it all came to an end on September 11, 1981, when a twin-engine Cessna 310 plane crashed into the building, instantly killing the pilot and his passenger. The day after the crash, it was front-page news in the San Bernardino Sun newspaper. This photo was the Inland Empire's first glimpse at the damaged interior of the Swing. The article reported that the dead were the pilot of the plane, Roderick Frazier, and his son-in-law, Suhail Saloom. Frazier was the owner of the Don Jose restaurant chain. The pair were flying from Las Vegas, Nevada, to their home in Orange County. The Sunday, September 13th front page reported that the Swing Auditorium could be demolished because it was not insured for an accident like this. The article also reported that 2 workers inside the building at the time of the crash were not injured. The 2 men were video technicians setting up a closed-circuit TV screen for a championship boxing match. The Sunday Sun also carried a photo essay of the damage. The text read in part, "The day after a freakish airplane crash, a damaged Swing Auditorium was still a center of activity Saturday. City workers used tractors to clear out broken benches and twisted railings. A county coroner sifted through the water-drenched rubble, still looking for body parts of the 2 men who perished in the accident. Carpenters began boarding up holes where the auditorium's doors once hung, and a chain-link fence was wrapped around the circumference of the 43,000-square-foot hall to keep the curious outside. The splintered wreckage of the twin-engine airplane had been hauled away before dawn Saturday, but the immense hole in the auditorium's southeast corner served as a vivid reminder of the accident's impact." The September 17th Sun newspaper reported the accident cost the building the chance to stage a proposed October concert by the Rolling Stones during their fall 1981 tour. Representatives of the band contacted local officials as to the availability of the facility and were told it was unusable. It would have been the band's 5th appearance in the venue following 4 mid-1960s shows. On September 15th, it was reported that the coroner determined that the pilot suffered a blood clot in his lower aorta, paralyzing him from the waist down and causing him to lose control of the plane. On September 17th, National Orange Show management still wasn't sure if the swing would be repaired or would have to be demolished. Engineers from California's Division of Fairs and Expositions examined the structure but would not comment until a complete structural examination was made. On October 21st, it was reported that the National Orange Show Board of Directors okayed the filing of a $10 million lawsuit against the estate of the late Roderick Frazier, pilot of the plane. Meanwhile, in mid-November, Sven Nielsen, a structural engineer hired by the National Orange Show Board of Directors, said the Swing Auditorium could be repaired, but gave no estimate of the cost. National Orange Show management wanted to see an estimate before deciding on the fate of the Swing Auditorium. On January 7, 1982, it was reported that structural engineer Sven Nielsen estimated that the swing could be repaired for $2.5 million, or torn down and replaced with a new building for $6.5 million. National Orange Show manager Joe Brosmer said a decision would be made within a month. On February 10, 1982, the Sun reported that the Orange Show Board of Directors had decided to tear down the Swing Auditorium, but made no commitment to replace it with a new building. The board apparently was concerned that repairs could not be made in time for the April 29th opening of the National Orange Show, when thousands of people would be attending on the grounds. The February 12, 1982 Sun editorial page bemoaned the upcoming loss of the Swing Auditorium, calling it an era gone. In Part 2, the demolition of the Swing Auditorium begins, and a $10 million lawsuit against the pilot's estate is filed and goes to court.
That's a difficult question to answer.
When the sun goes down and the evening rolls around, that's the time I find got blue ribbon on my mind. I got that blue ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find I've got a taste
good Pabst. America's premium beer since 1844. Pabst. A lot to look forward to.
Hello, welcome everybody to an edition of what we call Brown Box. I'm your host, Ryan Harsh.
And I'm Chris LeRoy.
Hi everyone. And on Brown Box, we bring in some of our favorite albums and discuss them. Simple as that. We put them in a box that's brown. So, well, I picked something that was there. It's a band that's a little different, and they're from the same island. And so my pick for this week is The Fall. It's called Perverted by Language. This is a band that started in 1977, came out of Manchester, and they basically broke up when their lead singer, Marky Smith, died in 2017. They made 32 records. They had about, the only constant in the band was lead singer and lyricist Marky Smith, who was something of a misanthrope, I guess you could say. He had over 50 people in the band throughout the entire length of the band.
It's worse than the Dangers.
It may be, maybe comparable to. How did I get into The Fall? And I'm into a band called Pavement. And one day someone was like, if you like Pavement, you'll like The Fall, because they do sound a lot alike in some ways. So with this record, you can very much tell, and with a lot of their records, and with this one, it's my favorite right now. But next week it might be a different one that I put on, because there's a lot of variety in what they play. Very much influenced by bands like Can and Captain Beefheart, especially with like that repetitive nature of the music. And so with this one, the first song, it's like a 6-minute song with this repetitive bass line for 6 minutes, and the guitars in the background. And it's amazing. It's you wouldn't think it's so good, but it is.
Yeah.
And just how this kind of band has inadvertently influenced a lot of other bands that came after, how they outlived everybody from that era.
Yeah.
And it's a wonder that they kind of made it as far as they did. But I don't know. What do you know about The Fall? Is there anything?
I have a couple albums of The Fall.
Yeah.
I knew that they've been around forever.
Oh yeah.
So probably was listening to them sort of early on in our Danger era, and it was just like another band that, these guys are good.
Yeah.
And they're kind of trippy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the Maycons for me, where there's this music that, if you have this one Maycons album, doesn't mean that you've heard them.
Right.
You hear another album, and it doesn't sound anything
Exactly.
like it. Probably between the two albums, they sound so dissimilar. I probably forgot that they were the same band.
Sure.
I probably thought that there was something else.
Same singer and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sings with a very obvious, Manchester accent. The lyrics are. I mean, the first time you hear them, it's like you're rewarded with repeat listens, because there's a lot of little jokes he makes, and a lot of the language you have to kind of dissect, which is someone who loves the written word. It's just why I like the band so much, and what they kind of give you. It's very challenging. It's definitely something if you put on at a party, not everyone's going to stick around for, right?
Well, it can be very useful.
Yeah, if you want to clear the room at the end of the night, or if you want to send someone home, then you definitely put this on. But this particular record, Perverted by Language, it's very, as you can imagine, very wordy in comparison to other records that they've done. But I think it's 1984, if I'm not mistaken. It's a fun record. It's very fun to listen to, very different, and highly recommend this band. If it's not this record, it's any of their other 31 records.
Yeah. But who's counting?
Exactly.
In
lot of it has to do with how he kind of put it together, how he put together the sequence, how the record kind of starts, it kind of ramps up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like kind of like what you're talking about. It's kind of got a flow to it in a weird way. And it does, like he said that too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm really liking this sequence. Tell me what you think. To me, when I listen to this, it's almost like it takes you, it's like you're being taken on a journey.
The Exterminating Angel, there's the film,
The Buñuel film, right?
Buñuel film. So, so was that a little bit like the dinner you couldn't leave?
Well, yeah, that's good. You know, that's funny because that was a couple of the song titles on the record were actually Immergluck suggestions, completely removed. I forgot about that. Three Kings,
yeah,
and Exterminating Angel. Those were songs that he titled.
It's a wonderful cover.
Oh, thanks.
How did that come together?
The guy that, well, all kind of comes from the title of the record, and the title, you know, the guy that plays drums on the record is Michael Jerome. He plays drums for Richard Thompson and Better Than Ezra. He was, you know, like we sent him a copy of I sent him an advanced, you know, burned disc of the mixes, you know, and he was like, I dig this project, you know, and playing with you. It was really fun. This music, it reminds me of, he said something like it reminded him of a Baroque version of King Crimson or something. I also like the idea of a title kind of doing an umbrella encompassing all of the songs. They're like songs were from some place, you know.
Oh,
and yeah, so then that's what was like the songs from the Imperial Garden. And so anyway, I thought, you know, Royal, Imperial, you know, the British loved their gardens, the expansive gardens and flowers, and somehow I just kind of got this imagery in my head,
right.
And that's where it kind of started.
In the LA Times, there was someone who wrote about, she wrote about a couple pieces of art that kind of sustained her through the pandemic.
Yeah.
And she had talked about, there were some paintings that she was enamored of when she was young, but in this era, she kept going back and listened to 50 times, she said, at least, to John Coltrane's Love Supreme.
Supreme, yeah.
And she just, it is such a great meditation about how important that record was to her personally. And as you know, when I listened to this piece, some of the most useful music to me over this year.
Oh yeah,
that's
a huge compliment.
In that journey, there's a sense of calm and progress.
As we were finishing mixing this record, this would have been 2012, I started working on another solo record. And that's what's going to be coming out this year sometime. I mean, it's kind of like a 180. It's almost like a 180 from Imperial Garden.
Yeah.
And it's also an instrumental record. I wrote the entire thing on keyboards. Keyboards is pretty much everything I've been doing for a while now. There's a lot of harder stuff. It's almost reminiscent, more like the Monks of Doom, more rock, more hard rock. It's got real drums. Same, Michael Jerome's also playing drums on it. In all honesty, I'm really just trying to grow, and I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to do I'm trying to just expand my horizons and just try as many different things as I can. After not putting anything out in, 13 years and putting it out, and you never know what's going to happen and stuff like that. And I just got so much love from people, and people seem to like it. I'm more determined now to continue with my solo stuff and just work on stuff and see where I can take things and try different things and see how it goes, bringing people along on my journey. I can't wait to get back out there and do it again when it's possible. Glad to be on your show. It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Greg.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you hopefully in the near future in person.